Rainbow Serpent is a savage climb, which if you've never been there, you should absolutely go, even just to look at it. There's two different stories that I want to share with you guys today of climbing it, one with Stas and then one with my buddy Ryan. Both of them, both strong climbers. Obviously, Stas, is significantly stronger. But yeah, some really interesting stories about Stas when he went up there and soloed Fearful as well as Rainbow in one day back to back, which was insane to watch, and I'm going to share it all here in this episode. What is up, guys? For those of you new to the channel, my name is Philip Setter. I'm an avid ice climber, rock climber, and backcountry skier here in Canada. I'm also an insurance broker who specializes in insuring those types of individuals that are engaged in those sports. If that sounds interesting, I'll drop a link in the description, but let's just get right into the episode. Okay. Rainbow Serpent is a savage climb, and it's so awesome. And it's in the Ghost, and the Ghost is just one of the coolest places to climb in. If you're not familiar with the Ghost River Wilderness region is here, kind of tucked away. It's kind of like in between Canmore and I guess Ypres. Like it's kind of like back, it's behind Yamaneska, tucked away, but you have to, the only way to get to it is you take this off-road road essentially to get into the Ghost, which is like just full on, like, again, driving conditions are just crazy. In the winter, there's spin drifts that pile up on the road. It's a huge off-road community paradise. So you'll have guys out there with like lifted, Tacomas and lifted Wranglers with 40-inch tires, just like destroying the trail for, ice climbers that just want to get in and get to a climb. And it's also like just the Badlands. It's crown land out there, which means like you basically can do whatever you want. You can shoot guns off, you can cut down trees, you can build fires. Like you can do whatever you want out there. You go hunting within hunting season. Anyways, it's the wild west out there, and there's all different sorts of people out there. Rednecks just out there camping, to off-roaders, to climbers, to, like all these different sorts of partiers in the summer, like grad students go out there and party, just on the cliff and when you drive in, pardon me. Anyways, in the winter, it's a crazy place because like you have to contend with so much to get out there, right? You have to like get out there like from a vehicle point of view, you have to like make it there, but then also just from an isolation point of view, there's no cell phone service. No one can really get to you except for other people with off-road rigs. So it's not like you can just like, call a cab and be like, hey, come get me. You're pretty isolated when you're out there, and you kind of have to rely on other people when you're there to help you out, right? Or you want to, bring as much gear as you can, bring a sleeping bag, bring extra food, bring extra water, just in case things go wrong. Because things do go wrong out there quite often. Things break on your vehicle. I've gotten stuck out there more times than I can even think of. I blew my differential on my Jeep out there one time, and we were stuck for like hours and hours and hours. So it's just like a crazy place that you never know what's going to happen when you go out there. It is like just getting out there is a total adventure. You never know what's going to happen. You might come across people that are stuck and stranded themselves. You might have to help people out of the river. Like, it's just an insane place. If you've never been to the Ghost, it's like a wild place, but there's tons of good ice climbs out there. And one of those ice climbs is Rainbow Serpent. So Rainbow Serpent is tucked away in this little, what do you call it? Like what do you call that thing again? It's like not an enclave. And you're like a cirque? No, there's a word for it. I don't know. Put a comment below if you know what word I'm trying to say. Like when you go up into an area and it's like an enclosed rock enclosure. What the fuck am I trying to say? I can't remember. Whatever it is. Anyways, so you have to get up. Amphitheater. Fuck, that's the word. Amphitheater. You have to get up into this amphitheater to get there. So anyways, first of all, even to get up into this area, you have to climb this one climb called hydrophobia. Hydrophobia is one pitch. Sorry, not hydrophobia. Aquarius. You have to climb Aquarius to get up into this amphitheater, which is, I think, WI4 plus. So 70 meters, WI4 plus. So just to get into this amphitheater, there's a test piece to get there, which like for most people going up there, WI4 plus, probably not a problem. So once you get past that, then you come into this like wide amphitheater, and I'll put a picture up somewhere so you guys can kind of see, and I'll put some video as well. I'm sure I have a little bit of video of this climb. Unfortunately, I don't have any video actually of when I climbed it with Stas or with Ryan. I didn't have a GoPro at that point, but we did come back another year and look at it again, but the conditions just weren't right, so we didn't climb it that year. Nobody climbed it, actually. It was like barely hanging on. It was like it had already like cracked and fallen over, and was just like resting there. I'll put some video up for sure. But anyways, so you get in this amphitheater, and then on the left, there's a climb called Fearful Serpent, which I think is just 70 meters WI6X. And then there's Rainbow Serpent, which is 100 meters. I think 100 meters, maybe 90 meters or something like that at WI6 as well. They're both these massive pillars, crazy climbing. Just like, full on WI6, obviously, but there's definitely been some horror stories of people going up there. So anyways, listen, first time I ever went up there. No, I shouldn't say that. This was the second time. I had went up there one time before when we had climbed, me and my friend, Hayden, we had climbed actually on Christmas Day. We climbed Aquarius. We got up there, and neither of those climbs were even in, but we just went into the amphitheater to look at it. And it was like, wow, this place is crazy. And so then it was the next year that that Stas and myself and Matt Westlake went. And so Matt Westlake, he's had some health conditions for a long time, and he's had some problems with his wrist. I think he broke his wrist. And so he wasn't coming to climb. He was coming just to take pictures. And I didn't know this at the time. They just said, okay, let's meet out there at this time. And we met out there. And then that's when Stas is like, okay, I'd like to solo both of these today. And I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Sounds good. And so we went up, climbed Aquarius, got into the amphitheater. And then the first climb that he did was Fearful Symmetry, which, it doesn't come in that often. And they usually don't come in together very often as well. So this was kind of a rare opportunity to get both of them and solo both of them, at the same time. And so I can see why he would want to take advantage of that. So Fearful Symmetry wasn't too bad. I would say that, like for sure it was, WI6, but I didn't think it was as technically difficult. So Stas went, climbed it, soloed it, I should say. And I mean, you could have heard like a pin drop in this, but Fearful wasn't that bad. So then I went down, tied into the rope, and came up, climbed Fearful. Phenomenal climb. By that point, it was a little picked out. So it kind of felt more like a dry tooling route, like an ice climbing dry tooling route than it did, but still quite fun. Like lots of fun moves, interesting moves. Got up it, we wrapped down, and then he went over to Rainbow, and he started up Rainbow, and me and Matt stayed kind of at the base of Fearful Symmetry, and we were Matt was taking pictures of him, and I was taking some videos, and like this was insane. This was like crazy, like you watch videos of free soloing and you see things, but it's different. It's different to be there and, have your friend do it and be watching it. And you're kind of just like, you can't help but think like, what would happen if he fell right now? And it's just wild. And I mean, like, cause you're in this like really tight amphitheater, it sounds like the sounds echo off each other. So, if he like would swing and hit ice and it drops down to the bottom of this amphitheater, it just shatters and it echoes, all over the place, and you can hear it. And, you can't help but think that like, oh my God, what would happen if he fell? Right. Which is bananas. But, he's probably like, 2/3 of the way up, and he's at this really difficult part where he starts to like kind of look left, look right, climb up, and then climb down, which is just crazy. I'm watching him, and like you can hear breathing, and it's me breathing so heavy because I'm so stressed out watching this guy climb. And I'm like breathing, and I'm like careful that I don't like sneeze, or I don't want to breathe too hard or anything like that, and like cause him to mess up. Like I know it probably wouldn't, make him, but I'm just like, oh my God, this is insane. Like this is freaking full on. So he's there for like a little while, and I'm talking to Matt. I'm whispering to Matt, like, oh my God, dude. And Matt's just snapping pictures, and you can hear the shutter of the camera, chick, 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 chick. And it just echoes throughout this amphitheater. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing here? Oh my God, I don't want to watch this. So obviously, he made it up to the top, which is good, obviously. And I rappelled down from the base of Fearful to the bottom of the amphitheater, came up, tied into the rope, and then climbed it. And I'm climbing this, and I'm just like, oh my God, I cannot believe that he just soloed this. Like that's insane. Like the first pitch of Rainbow is like, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's still like, I don't know, WI5 plus WI6. I don't know, somewhere around there, maybe 5 plus. But then the second pitch is like full on WI6 to WI6 plus, somewhere in that range. And it's just like, oh my, like I remember climbing it and just being like, there's no fucking way that I would be up here without a rope. Like, without any protection. Just like, that's insane to me. I'm like going over some of these moves on this insecure climbing. I'm just like, oh my God. So yeah, I mean, huge kudos to Stas for being able to solo both those routes in a day. There was, God, what's his name? I feel like I can't remember anything today. There's another incredibly famous climber that unfortunately passed away in like an ice climbing competition. He soloed a whole bunch of things. I cannot think of his name right now, which I'm so embarrassed about. But if you know who I'm talking about, just drop a comment below. He also soloed both those routes. He soloed a shitload of routes in like the 90s, and unfortunately passed away when he got swept away in an avalanche in an ice climbing competition. I don't know why. Tim something. I can't remember. Anyways, phenomenal climb. Another time that I climbed it. Yeah. So yeah, just to finish up that story, we came down, obviously then went out, but the other time that I climbed it, which I got to lead it, which was awesome. And I'm super proud. This is like some of the best climbing that I think I've done. Me and my buddy Ryan, went out there, and I think that this was the same year, actually. This was the same year that I climbed it with Ryan. I went out there. We got there first, and man, the French are crazy. Oh, these guys are so strong. So we get to the base of Aquarius. We're gearing up, and a bunch of French climbers come up to us. I can't remember all the names. Fanny, Damien, Helio, one other I can't remember. Another super nice lady. I can't remember all their names off the top of my head, but all from France, and like pretty phenomenal, like Chamonix guides, like full on strong climbers. And so we got to the base of the climb of Aquarius, and then they're like, "Oh, do you mind if we climb up Aquarius with you guys?" We're like, "Yeah, no problem." So like they're off. They just cruise off. They're up Aquarius in like a few minutes. And poor Ryan's just trying to keep up with them. I think like the second had already climbed up by time Ryan finished leading. And then we got in, and they ran over and they climbed Fearful like right away. Fanny climbed Fearful, pardon me, and then Damien came up, and then the other two were coming up Aquarius. And so they're so nice. So here's the thing: is like, I guess in Europe, you guys like just pick, like, it's like there's so many climbers in Europe that there's no like oh, you have the climb. Okay, well, everyone else will just wait until you're done. Because there's so many climbers, I guess they're just like, I'll take a different line and I'll take a different line and I'll take a different line. Because there's so many. It's like, well, if you guys waited for everyone to be off the climb, no one would actually ever get to climb. In Canada, because there's just not as many climbers out here and there's so many climbs to choose from, it's kind of like, a standard rule of thumb that if like someone's on a climb, it's like, oh, okay, well, there we go. We're going to go do something else. Like it doesn't happen all the time. Like for sure you can go and talk to them and be like, hey, can we go on a different side? And some people, they don't like doing that. They're like, no, there's no way. Like wait till I'm off. No, we're not doing that. And other people like, I don't care. If someone wants to do a different line beside me, like for sure, by all means, do whatever you want. So anyways, these French climbers, they were like, okay, no worries. Like you got here first. Which line do you want to do? And I'm like, which line do you think I want to do? I want to do the easiest line. Like I want to do the line on the left where everybody else went. That's the easiest. I want to pick the easiest way up the WI6. I don't want the hard WI6. I want the easy WI6, please. And so they're like, okay, no problem at all. So about halfway up, there's this cave. And that's kind of like where you congregate to go from the first pitch to the second pitch. And so everyone's going to this cave. So Ryan leads the first pitch and he takes the left line and he goes into the cave. And then the other guys, Helio, and I can't remember, her name starts with an M. I can't remember her name, but they start in the middle and then they go into the cave. And then Damien starts on the right side and then he goes into the cave as well. And so I have a picture. I'll throw it up on the screen of exactly what we looked like. So there were 6 of us in this cave at one point, but these guys are all like pretty sophisticated Chamonix guides. Like they understand rope management, and so it was crazy to watch. And they're popping in screws and like doing rope systems and creating knots and belaying and they were so fast and efficient with everything. It was crazy. And so by the time I got up, the other guy had already left and he was leading the far right side. And then one of the other girls, I think, led the middle. And then I started up on the left side and they were all off. They zoomed out. Like I was still leading the pitch on the left side. And the followers now of those two parties were climbing past me. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, wait for me. But some of the best climbing I think I've done, like full on WI6 conditions. And I just kind of like, total flow state, zoned in, just got in like one move after the other, made it up. Basically, I think I was like 10 meters from the top. I took there's this one spot where you could take a rest and just kind of stand. I switched out my gloves to new gloves and carried on. And I have a picture kind of me up the top. It kind of mellowed out a little bit and the ice was a little bit more wet, so it's a little bit easier sticks. But superb climbing, like super proud of the climbing that I did that day. Got up, brought Ryan up, and he was like, dude, that was bananas. I don't know how you led that. And I was like, sweet, dude. But yeah, Rainbow is a phenomenal climb. The French are crazy. Those guys are crazy. If you get a chance to get out to Rainbow, you will, even if you just get out there to look at it, you won't be disappointed. It's a phenomenal place. The backdrop is awesome. It's really cool. So yeah, if you get a chance, go look at it. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode and I will see you guys in the next one.